What if I told you that somewhere deep in the wilderness, there's a town that doesn't exist? A town that appears on no map. A town that no satellite has ever captured. Yet dozens of people claim they've been there. They all describe the same streets, the same houses, the same clock tower, and the same warning at the entrance. If you leave after sunset, don't look back. Most people thought it was just another internet myth, until one missing hiker came back with a story no one could explain. His name was Ethan, a 28-year-old adventurer who loved exploring remote forests. One autumn morning, he set out on a solo hiking trip through a vast wilderness. He carried enough supplies for 3 days, but Ethan never returned. Search teams combed the forest for a week. No footprints, no backpack, no clues. It was as if he had vanished. Then, on the 7th day, a driver spotted a man stumbling out of the forest. Dirty, exhausted, terrified. It was Ethan, but what he told authorities sounded impossible. According to Ethan, he became lost while following an unfamiliar trail. As the sun began to set, he noticed lights through the trees. Relieved, he headed toward them and discovered a hidden town deep in the forest. The streets were clean, the houses perfectly maintained, and in the center stood a giant clock tower. Yet something felt wrong. The town was silent. As Ethan walked through the streets, he noticed people watching him from their windows. Their faces were expressionless. Nobody smiled, nobody waved. Then an elderly woman approached him and whispered, "You need to leave before sunset." Ethan asked why, but she only glanced at the clock tower and replied, "Just leave." By the time Ethan decided to leave, the sun had already disappeared. Suddenly, the streets became empty. Every door was shut. Every window was dark. He tried retracing his steps, but every road led him back to the clock tower, again and again. Then he noticed shadows standing at the ends of the streets, watching, waiting, not moving, at least not when he looked directly at them. Desperate for answers, Ethan entered the clock tower. Inside, hundreds of photographs covered the walls. Travelers, hikers, explorers from different decades and countries. Beneath each photograph was a date. None of those people were ever seen again. Then Ethan found the newest photograph. It showed him standing in front of the clock tower only hours earlier. Beneath it was a single word: next. Terrified, Ethan ran, out of the tower, through the empty streets, toward the forest. Behind him, he heard dozens of footsteps getting closer. Then a voice echoed through the darkness. "Don't look back." Every instinct told him to turn around, but he kept running until he burst through the trees and collapsed on a roadside. Search teams returned to the exact area he described. They found no town, no roads, no buildings, and no clock tower. It was as if the place had never existed. Many dismissed Ethan's story as a hallucination, but there was one problem. Among Ethan's belongings was a camera containing dozens of photographs, pictures of the town, pictures of the houses, pictures of the clock tower. One photograph stood out. In the background, near the clock tower, stood a man staring directly into the camera. The man looked exactly like Ethan. Same face, same eyes, same scar above his eyebrow. But the photograph carried a date from 43 years before Ethan was born. To this day, no one has explained how that's possible, or why every few years another traveler claims to discover a town hidden on no map. A town that shouldn't exist. A town where the same warning still waits at the entrance. If you leave after sunset, don't look back.